How are you guys doing? It is Sunday, August 30th, 2020. I'm out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and with this episode of The Elite, I'm going to cover everything that we missed yesterday with Saturday basketball. Playoff basketball started back up after the boycott. And of course, there was baseball and playoff hockey as well. So I'm just going to get into all that. So, just to get started, the Orlando Magic, the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, have officially played their last game of the 2019-2020 season as the first seed Milwaukee Bucks beat them 118-104, winning the series 4-1 after the Magic took the first game. And in this game, big performances from DJ Augustine would have 15 points off the bench. Terrence Ross would have 13 points and 6 rebounds off the bench in 23 minutes. Out of the starters, Eric Fournier had 18 points in 33 minutes. Markelle Fultz had 14. Nikola Vucevic would put up yet another big performance with 22 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists as he shot 9 for 25 from the field, 3 for 10 from the three-point line, and 1 for 2 from the free throw line. For the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo would go on to score 28 points in 28 minutes with 17 rebounds and 3 assists, shooting 11 for 17 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and 3 for 5 from the free throw line, and yet another amazing playoff performance from Giannis Antetokounmpo. Additionally, their small forward, Chris Middleton, would finish with 21 points and 10 rebounds and 7 assists in 34 minutes, shooting 7 for 16 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, and 4 for 5 from the line. Brook Lopez would finish with 16 points and 7 rebounds. Eric Bledsoe would finish with 10 points and 8 assists. Marvin Williams off the bench would finish with 12 points and 7 rebounds. And George Hill would finish with 11. And like I said, big game overall for the Milwaukee Bucks, and they are now the last Eastern Conference team to advance to the second round, as every other Eastern Conference team had swept their opponent to get there. And after the Orlando Magic took game 1, the Bucks basically swept them. I imagine their next game will be against the Miami Heat after the Miami Heat swept the Indiana Pacers. But we'll most definitely find that out. But as of right now, every Eastern Conference team is through. And moving out west for the second game of the day, the Houston Rockets were able to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 114-80 to win their third game of the series to take a 3-2 series lead over the Oklahoma City Thunder in round 1 of the Western Conference playoffs. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, it's just their players just really couldn't get it going. Gallinari finished with 1 point. He shot 0 for 5. Steven Adams went 6 for 8 as he finished with 12 points and 14 rebounds. Chris Paul, their elite point guard, had 16 points and 6 rebounds and 3 assists as he shot 6 for 13 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, 3 for 4 from the free throw line in 30 minutes. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 4 points in 34 minutes. He shot 2 for 8. Luke Dort, their shooting guard, finished with 6 points in 23 minutes in 16 shots. Dennis Schroeder was one of their bright spots. He finished with 19 points off the bench. Additionally, Darius Baisley finished with 10 points and 12 rebounds for the OKC Thunder. But it was mainly the Rockets getting it going. Most notably, their elite point guard, Russell Westbrook, has rejoined the team. This is his first playoff game as a member of the Houston Rockets because he sat out the first 4 games due to an injury. But he was able to bring it back. He played 24 minutes. He finished with 7 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists as he shot 3 for 13 from the field, 0 for 2 from the three-point line. Robert Covington finished with 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists and 3 steals. James Harden, their elite shooting guard, would finish with an amazing game, as he usually does. He finished with 31 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists in 28 minutes. He shot 11 for 15 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, 5 for 6 from the free throw line. And additionally, Eric Gordon, their shooting guard, finished with 20 points. Big win for the Houston Rockets, and like I said, they're now 1 game away from possibly playing the Los Angeles Lakers in the next round, but they're still 1 game away. The Thunder, once their backs are against the wall, they need to win 2 games in order to advance to the next round of the playoffs. And last but not least, going out to the very last game of the night, the West first seed Los Angeles Lakers were able to beat the 8th seed Portland Trailblazers 131-122, effectively eliminating them from the first round of the playoffs. And the Los Angeles Lakers are the first team from the West to advance. They're the only team to advance in 5 games or less. And just going to the Trailblazers to see how they played in their very, very last game, because you never know who's coming back. Off the bench, Anthony Simons finished with 13 points in 28 minutes, along with 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 steals. And then out of the starters, versus Hassan Whiteside, their center finished with 2 points, 7 rebounds, and an assist. Their shooting guard, Gary Trent Jr. from my class at Duke, finished with 16 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals as he shot 5 for 13 from the field, 3 for 7 from three, and 3 for 4 from the free throw line. Yusuf Nurkic, their center, finished with 16 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 steals, and a block in 37 minutes. He shot 6 for 16 from the field, 1 for 4 from three, and 3 for 4 from the free throw line. And Carmelo Anthony, their future Hall of Fame forward, finished with 27 points, 7 rebounds, and an assist. He shot 9 for 16 from the field. And last but not least, their shooting guard, CJ McCollum, finished with 36 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists in 46 minutes. He shot 13 for 25 from the field, 3 for 7 from three, and 7 for 8 from the free throw line. In their game without Damian Lillard. Like I said, amazing Portland Trailblazers team, amazing the way they went out. Just well played, well put together performance, especially from Carmelo Anthony and definitely from Damian Lillard, the bubble MVP. And for the Lakers, Dwight Howard would finish with 11 points and 6 rebounds off the bench. And out of the starters, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope would finish with 14 points. And then it was just mainly between AD and LeBron. Both of those two players had amazing games all the way through. Anthony Davis, the Los Angeles Lakers elite power forward, finished with 43 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists in 36 minutes. He shot 14 for 18 from the field, 4 for 6 from three, and he went 11 for 13 from the free throw line. And LeBron James, the Los Angeles Lakers GOAT levels shooting or small forward, point guard, and quite arguably the best player in the game, finished with 36 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists in 34 minutes, in yet another elimination game for him. He shot 14 for 19 from the field, 4 for 7 from three, and he made all 4 of his free throws, and he had a plus-minus of 20 points. And as of right now, LeBron James is 14-0 in the first round of the playoffs, and now the Los Angeles Lakers, like I said, are the very first team to advance to the second round of the playoffs in the NBA, especially led by LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Great game from both those two players. And even down the stretch, it was a very, very close game, but Anthony Davis would help them pull away, especially with amazing plays from LeBron. So that's what happened yesterday. As of right now, 11 teams remain in the playoffs. All 4 teams in the East have advanced to the first round, and the Lakers have advanced. There's still 3 series left to play. So looking forward to what's going on today. At 1 o'clock, the Celtics are going to play the Raptors for the first round of their series of the second round on ESPN at 1 o'clock. Following that, at 3:30, the Los Angeles Clippers play the Dallas Mavericks in Game 5 as the Clippers lead that series 3-2. And last but not least, at 8:30, the Nuggets are going to take on the Jazz at TNT as Utah leads that series over the Jazz. But that's what's going on with the NBA. I'm checking in with the WNBA because of everything that's going on. I know the WNBA was able to come back. And so first starting off with Vegas, they were able to beat the Liberty 80-63 yesterday behind Aja Wilson's 20 points and 7 rebounds. They're now sitting at 12-3, and the Liberty dropped to 2-13. The Seattle Storm were able to beat the Chicago Sky, and now the Seattle Storm are 13-3 behind Natasha Howard, 17 points and 15 rebounds. Last but not least, the Dallas Wings were able to beat the Indiana Fever 82-78 behind Arike Ogunwale's 30 points. Big game all around for the Dallas Wings. And in terms of what to look forward to here in the IMG bubble today, the Connecticut Sun are going to take on the DC Mystics. Mercury's going to take on the Lynx at 6 o'clock, and the Atlanta Dream take on the Los Angeles Sparks at 8 o'clock. Now jumping to the hockey bubble, just to give you a little bit of insight into what's going on in those two bubbles. First off, the Tampa Bay Lightning were able to beat the Boston Bruins 3-1 yesterday to take a 3-1 series lead to move them 1 game away from the Eastern Conference Finals, especially led by their left wing Palat. Additionally, following that, the New York Islanders were able to beat the Philadelphia Flyers 3-1 to take a 2-1 series lead, which is big for them, especially moving forward in the Stanley Cup Series. And last but not least, the Golden Knights were able to completely shut out the Canucks, staying or behind their goalie Lehner. With this win, the Vegas Golden Knights take a series lead. They take a 2-1 lead over the Canucks. They're now 2 games away from the Western Conference Finals. And now just just in terms of what to look forward to today, the Colorado Avalanche play the Dallas Stars, at 6:00, as Dallas leads that series 2-1. At 8:00, the Philly Flyers are going to play against the New York Islanders as the Islanders lead that series 2-1. And last but not least, the Golden Knights are going to take on the Canucks yet again. Vegas leads that series 2-1. Jumping out to the MLB, but starting in the West, I'm going to jump out to Houston and Oakland, where they hosted a doubleheader. The Astros hosted a doubleheader. In the first game, the Astros were able to beat the Oakland A's 4-2 behind Lance McCullers Jr.'s 7 strikeouts, and only allowing 2 runs in 6 innings pitched. Good game from him. From the Oakland A's, Matt Chapman, their elite third baseman, finished 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs on the day, the only 2 RBIs on the day. For the Astros, their elite second baseman, Jose Altuve, would finish 0 for 3. Carlos Correa, their shortstop, Tucker, their designated hitter, Kyle Tucker would finish 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a run for the day. With this win, and of course the second win of the doubleheader, the Astros are now sitting at 9-14. In the second game, they beat the Oakland Athletics 6-3. Zach Greinke would get his second win of the season, only allowing 3 runs in 5 innings pitched. He did strike out 6. Frankie Montas would pick up his 3rd loss of the season. For the A's, this game, Matt Chapman, their elite shortstop, would finish 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run on the day. Matt Chapman had a pretty good hitting day, but the A's lost both their games. For the Astros, their elite second baseman, Jose Altuve, would finish 2 for 4. Their center fielder, George Springer, would finish 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 5th home run of the season. Additionally, their left fielder, Kyle Tucker, would finish 1 for 4 with 3 RBIs as his bat has been very hot lately. With this win, like I said, the Astros are 19-14, and the Oakland A's are now 22-12 as the Astros inch closer and closer to the A's by the day. Staying out in the AL West, the Texas Rangers hosted the Los Angeles Dodgers in this interleague matchup. The Dodgers were able to get the best of them, though, as they beat them 7-4. Kenley Jansen will get his 9th save of the season as Blake Trinan picked up his 3rd win. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, their elite right fielder, Mookie Betts, would finish 1 for 2 with a run on the day. Additionally, their elite center fielder, Cody Bellinger, would finish 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 9th home run of the season. Max Muncy, their third baseman, finished 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 9th home run of the season. Big win for the Dodgers. They're now 25-10 in the NL West, and the Rangers are now just 12-20. And then Lance Lynn, like I said, would pick up his 1st loss of the season. He would allow 4 runs in 6 innings pitched, and he struck out 6. He had a pretty good performance, but the Dodgers were just too good. And of course, staying on the AL West, the Los Angeles Angels were able to host the Seattle Mariners, and they beat them 16-3 to get their 12th win of the season. Dylan Bundy would pick up his 4th win for the Angels as he allowed 1 run in 5 innings pitched, and he struck out 3 batters and also walked 3. For the Angels, their elite third baseman, Anthony Rendon, would finish 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs on the day. He did strike out 3 times, he did walk 3 times. Albert Pujols, their first baseman, finished 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs as he moves up even further into 3rd place for all-time RBIs. Additionally, amazing performance from Angels GOAT-level center fielder Mike Trout, who would finish 3 for 4 with 4 runs and 6 RBIs on the day. He would go on to hit his 12th home run of the season. Additionally, for the Angels, Joe Adell, their right fielder, would hit 2 home runs on the day as he finished 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. Amazing performance all around from the Angels. They are now 12-22 on the season as the Mariners are now 13-22. Now jumping to the National League side of the West, the Colorado Rockies hosted the San Diego Padres, and were able to beat them 4-3 yesterday. Starting performance from Senzatella. He struck out 3 batters and allowed no runs in the first 7 innings, but he wouldn't get the win as the Rockies wouldn't score until the 7th inning, and they would win on the 9th inning on a walk-off hit from Daniel Murphy to give them the win. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are now at 17-16, and the Padres now drop to 20-15. For the Padres, their elite shortstop Fernando Tatis Jr. would finish 1 for 3 with a run. Their elite third baseman Manny Machado would finish 1 for 4 with a run. And then out of the Colorado Rockies, their elite third baseman Nolan Arenado would finish 1 for 4. Tapia would finish with an RBI. He went 2 for 4. Trevor Story would finish 2 for 4 with an RBI. Big win overall for the Rockies that they most definitely needed, especially with that hit late in the game. Much needed. Going out to Phoenix, the San Francisco Giants were able to make quick work of the Arizona Diamondbacks, beating them 5-2, putting up 4 of those runs in the first 3 innings. Trevor Cahill will get the start. He would only pitch 3 innings, but overall it was an all-around good hitting performance. Yastrzemski, the right fielder, finished 1 for 5 with an RBI. Dickerson would finish 2 for 5. Evan Longoria would finish 2 for 4 with a RBI and 2 runs. With this win, the San Francisco Giants are now 16-19 as the Arizona Diamondbacks drop to 14-20. Now jumping to the Central, the Detroit Tigers hosted the Minnesota Twins in a doubleheader and were able to beat them both times. In the first game, they beat them 8-2 with 16 hits in 7 innings. No home runs, by the way. Boyd would pick up his first win with the Tigers as he's now 1-4 on the season. He would pick up 6 strikeouts and he would only allow 1 earned run, 2 runs on the day. Randy Dobnak would pick up his second loss for the Twins as he'd allowed 12 hits and 6 runs in 4 innings. For the Tigers, just big. There's a bunch of 2-hit games. Nico Goodrum would go 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Jacoby Jones would finish 2 for 4 with a run. Just big win for the Tigers overall. And then in the second game, the Tigers beat them 4-2. The 2 home runs would be hit by the future Hall of Famers. Well, there will be 3, but still. For the Minnesota Twins, the loss went to Weiser didn't get the loss, but he only pitched 1 inning. But still, home run hit from Nelson Cruz. That was his 13th of the season as a designated hitter. Went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run for the day. And for the Detroit Tigers, their designated hitter Miguel Cabrera would go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. With both of these wins, the Tigers are now 15-16 in the AL Central, and the Twins now drop to 20-14. Of course, going to the other AL Central matchup, the Chicago White Sox hosted the Kansas City Royals, and the Kansas City Royals were able to get the best of the White Sox. Singer got the start and allowed 3 runs in 5 innings. Cease would only allow 1 earned run in 4 innings, but it would be the bullpen of the White Sox that kind of just gave it up in the very end. The Royals scored 5 runs in the 7th inning, and kind of a rally fashion to give them the lead that they had. Big game from Michael Franco, their third baseman. He finished 1 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run. As he hit his 6th home run of the season. Alex Gordon hit his 4th home run of the season as the left fielder went 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Royals are now 13-20. With this loss, the White Sox are now 20-13. Even for the White Sox, Tim Anderson would go 4 for 5. Just good game all around. Good game from both teams, but the win would go to Kansas City. They're now 13-20. And then going on to the last AL Central team, the Cleveland Indians were able to beat the St. Louis Cardinals in the 12th inning in St. Louis last night, beating them 2-1 off of a 12th run double from Tyler Naquin. Big win for them. Just great pitching performance on both sides. Carlos Carrasco would get the start for the Indians. He'd strike out 6 and allow no earned runs in those 6 innings. Jack Flaherty would allow 1 run in the first or in his 5 innings of pitching. He'd strike out 5. For the St. Louis Cardinals, their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, would go 2 for 5 on the day. The only RBI would come from Matt Carpenter as he went 1 for 5 with an RBI in the 7th inning. And then for the Cleveland Indians, their elite shortstop, Francisco Lindor, would go 1 for 4. Jose Ramirez, their third baseman, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run as he hit a home run in the 7th inning. He hit a home run in the 1st inning off of Jack Flaherty. It would be his 7th of the season. And then going to the National League Central, because with this win, the Cardinals are now 11-13, with the Indians now jumping up to 21-12. The Chicago Cubs were hosted by the Cincinnati Reds for both games. The first game, the Chicago Cubs took it. They were led by Yu Darvish in an amazing pitching performance. He's now 6-1 on the season, as he struck out 8 batters and allowed no runs through 6 innings pitched. Trevor Bauer would get his second loss of the season as he gave up 3 runs in 5.1 innings. He struck out 5. For the Chicago Cubs, their elite shortstop Javi Baez would go 0 for 3. Their first baseman Anthony Rizzo would go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. With this, they went on to the second game where the Cincinnati Reds were able to beat the Chicago Cubs 6-5. Behind Kunal would get the win. Antone would get the start. For the Cincinnati Reds, Winkler would get 2 RBIs. He finished 1 for 2 with a run, as he hit his 10th home run of the season. Additionally, Joey Votto, the veteran, would hit his 4th home run of the season. He went 1 for 2 with an RBI and a run. For the Chicago Cubs, I mean, not much is really going. Javi Baez wasn't playing. With this loss, with both teams splitting the doubleheader, I might say, the Chicago Cubs are now 19-14 in the NL Central, and the Cincinnati Reds are now 15-18. Jumping to the last NL Central game of the night, the Milwaukee Brewers hosted the Pittsburgh Pirates and were able to beat them to get their 15th win of the season. The start would go to Anderson, as he would allow 4 runs he would only allow the Pirates to score 4 runs in his 5 innings of work. For the Brewers, their elite left fielder Christian Yelich would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Additionally, Avisail Garcia as a pinch hitter would pick up 2 RBIs. The Brewers would win in walk-off fashion as the Pirates took the lead in the top of the 9th. It would be Eric Sogard's walk-off home run. Amazing play, much needed for the win. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 9-21, and the Milwaukee Brewers are now 15-17 on the season. Last but not least, jumping out east, the Yankees were able to beat the Mets last night in Yankee Stadium, 2-1 in the 9th inning off of a wild pitch by Dylan Betances. An amazing way to end the game, but just a well-pitched game from both sides. J.A. Happ would get the start for the Yankees. He'd allow no runs, strike out 5 through 7.1 innings. Selman would strike out 4 and allow 1 run through 4 innings. Just a well-hit game from both sides. For the Mets, their elite designated hitter Pete Alonso would go 1 for 3. The only RBI would go to Wilson Ramos, their catcher, who would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. He hit a home run in the 8th inning off Ottavino to tie it up. But for the Yankees, their first baseman, Luke Voit, would finish 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run, as he hit a home run in the first off Selman. And the only RBI, he would have the only RBI on the day for the Yankees. Aroldis Chapman would pick up his first win of the season. With this win, the Yankees are now 17-13 in the AL East, and the Mets are now 15-17 in the NL East. Jumping out to Philly, the Philadelphia Phillies hosted the Atlanta Braves and were able to beat them 4-1 off of Zach Eflin's second win of the season. He would only allow 1 run and strike out 8 batters through 7 innings. For the Atlanta Braves, their elite center fielder, Ronald Acuna Jr., would go 0 for 4 with a strikeout on the day. Not really much going on for them. Their elite first baseman, Freddie Freeman, would go 1 for 4. For the Philadelphia Phillies, their first baseman, Rhys Hoskins, would go 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run on the day. Andrew McCutchen would finish 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Their elite right fielder, Bryce Harper, would go 1 for 3 with an RBI. Big game all day for the Phillies. With this win, they're now 14-14. The Braves are now 18-14, and Workman got his 7th save of the season. Of course, moving on to the Miami Marlins and the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays were able to completely shut out the Marlins, only allowing them to get 3 hits on the day off of the start from Fleming. Josh Fleming would get his 2nd win of the season, as he struck out 6 and allowed no runs through 5 innings of play. Their biggest performer would be Joey Wendell, their second baseman, who would finish 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs on the day and a run. With this win, the Rays are now 23-11, and the Marlins are now 14-14. jumping out to Toronto as they hosted jumping out to Buffalo as the Toronto Blue Jays hosted the Orioles. They blanked the Orioles, completely shut them out. Taijuan Walker would pick up his third win of the season, striking out 4 and allowing no runs through 6 innings. For the Blue Jays, the Craig Biggio, their second baseman, would finish 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs on the day. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., their elite designated hitter, would finish 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. With this win, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 17-14. With this loss, the Orioles are now 14-18. And going on to the last game of the night, the Boston Red Sox hosted the Washington Nationals and beat them 5-3 to get their 11th win of the season. Mazza would get the start, but only start for 2 innings as he gave up 3 runs for the Red Sox. Anibal Sanchez would pick up his 4th loss of the season as the Nats dropped to 12-18. For the Boston Red Sox, Xander Bogaerts would come up really big. Their shortstop would finish 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. Like I said, and Barnes would pick up his 3rd win of the season. And that was everything that was going on yesterday in terms of what was going on. Because it's Saturday, there were a lot of double headers to pick up on. So there were an insane amount of baseball games. Everyone played, and just a great round of baseball. And now that it's Sunday, let me address all the games that are happening, all the matchups. First off, the Mets are playing the Yankees in a doubleheader in Yankee Stadium starting at 1:05. Rick Porcello is going to start the first game for the Mets. The Yankees starter hasn't been announced yet. And Seth Lugo is going to try to get his second win for the Mets as he starts game 2, but the Yankee starter has been mentioned. Additionally, Kenta Maeda hasn't lost yet, and the Twins face the Tigers at 1:10. Blake Snell is 2-0, looking to get his 3rd win of the season as the Rays take on the Marlins as their starting pitcher Alcantara is 1-0, looking to get his 2nd win. Jesus Luzardo is looking to take on Valdez as the Athletics take on the Astros, the 2 top teams in the AL West. Additionally, Savali is going to take on Adam Wainwright as the Indians take on the Cardinals. As that series goes on, Chris Paddock looks to get his 3rd win for the Padres as they take on Castellani and the Rockets at 3:10, or the Rockies at 3:10. Johnny Cueto is going to try to get his 3rd win of the season as the Giants take on the D-backs at 4:10. And Jake Arrieta is looking to get his 3rd win of the season as he takes on the Atlanta Braves at 7:08. But with that said, that's everything going on with sports. I hope you enjoy your Sunday. Once again, it is Sunday, August 30th, 2020 here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims. This is The Elite. Thank you for hearing my piece, and peace out.